Hey everybody, back with you tonight, Jersey First TV, Elizabeth Nader here, bringing you two of the best mayors in New Jersey. Welcome to the show, Mayor Mark Taylor, Mayor Ryan Martinez. You guys are great. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having us. Thank you. Thank you very much,
Big
Elizabeth.
Big Jersey First fan. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. No small thing that you're both in Morris County, because I happen to kind of love Morris County. But, all of that aside, you guys really are known to be incredible at what you do. So we're going to have a good time tonight talking about what's going on in your towns, talking about all the things in Trenton that affect us in our daily lives and how you guys are dealing with all of this. So, we know the budget was pushed through. We're going to talk about some of that and some of the big issues that you guys are facing. And then at the end, I'm going to let you do some bragging because you both deserve to do that. You're running two incredible towns. So let's start with affordable housing, because that is an issue. Mayor Mark, let's start with you in Florham Park. Let's talk about how you are addressing affordable housing.
Well, we as a town had a mandate of 1,082 units that we would be forced to build for affordable, what's called fair share housing. We were able to work with the court and bring that number down to 624 units. Since that has been finished and we've gotten our certification, we were able to bring a product in for disabled adults to every bed, 102 beds in that product count as a bed or count as a unit for affordable housing. So we're very fortunate to have 102 of those. We got some bonus credits totaling 157 there, and we're actually only building 211 additionally with all of our credits and all the stuff we pulled forward from the last round of affordable housing and or fair share housing. So we're trying to assess where we're at and how these projects that have now been approved are going to move forward. We have one that has not met before our planning board yet. There's been some conversation about it from the county. It was in the paper recently, but it's not been vetted yet by the planning board. So I would consider it a non-entity at this point.
Well, what's unusual about what you've done is working in those 102 disabled adults, right? It's workshop and play, something like that also in this community. Can you kind of explain that
Correct.
a little bit more?
Well, we have a very small downtown and it's very walkable. So we've been very fortunate that we're going to have two products built in the downtown that will be walkable to the diner, to Starbucks, to Dunkin' Donuts, and hopefully cut down the viable traffic that comes through on Columbia Turnpike. But in addition to that, we have some products on an industrial area, which is on Breland Road. We have to rethink. You've got to think outside the box because industrial areas are changing, lowering. People don't want the big box anymore.
Right.
People don't want the big office. So we've tried to rethink that area, and we're building 48 units in the industrial area. So
nice.
Yes.
Nice. All right. So Mayor Ryan, what does it look like in Butler? How are you dealing with affordable housing?
Butler is a little bit of a different story just because we're 98% built up already. There's not a lot of room for extra growth. We kind of have what we have. I just kind of always, the term affordable housing always makes me scratch my head. Affordable to who?
Right.
That really doesn't make any sense to me. Like what's affordable to us might be not affordable to a senior on a fixed income.
Right.
And we've seen, I'm sure Mayor Taylor would agree, like in other states where they have quote affordable housing or rent control, we see what a disaster that turns the market into. The best thing to do is just sort of get out of the way and let the free market decide. The best way to keep rents and housing affordable is to let the market decide, and we'll figure out how many units we need and who can afford it. That's the best way to handle it.
So Butler is 90% built out?
I believe it's 98% built up, yes.
Wow.
And like Mayor Taylor, we're a small town. We only have like 7,600 residents, small downtown, which we need to definitely give a facelift, but we're pretty built up. So we haven't had the issues that bigger towns would have with affordable housing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, let's switch to the budget and let's switch to property taxes. All right. So we know what's going on in Trenton right now. We've all heard little pieces of this, but this budget that got put together and given, I think everyone was given 11 minutes to look at it before it went to committee, which, makes a lot of sense. I want to tell you, let me read you this number. The unfunded debt in this budget, each taxpayer would have to bear the burden if they were to pay the unfunded debt, $57,900. So when we look at this proposed budget, first of all, property taxes, guys. This is the hot issue, right? We're always screaming about it. Residents in New Jersey so frustrated. We know that this budget's going to eventually force that to go up. I don't see how it doesn't. Can you guys talk about how you address your residents when you go talk to them and they're so upset about property taxes? Mayor Mark, what do you say to them?
The problem stems from other areas as well. Healthcare and pensions are continually rising. In our town, we've tried to stem the tide as best as possible on any increases in the taxes. Would I have loved to have had a zero increase this year? Yes. Could I do it? Because of healthcare and pensions, I was unable to. We came in with a 1.97% increase. Of course, you know, we're under a 2% cap from the state of New Jersey anyway. But my fixation is on trying to get our budget down to a zero increase or somewhere thereabouts to give some relief to our residents. I mean, I'm a resident here too. I pay taxes as well. I don't like to see what we have to do, but we manage our money very well. We'll talk a little bit later about some things that Florham Park has done or is doing that to keep us solvent and keep us moving forward. But the amount of pay that we have to put out for pension liabilities and for healthcare and our employee base. We have a great employee base. We have not increased our police department since 1992. We have 32 patrol people on the street. We have the same 22 DPW workers as we've had for many, many years. And we've tried to cull down as many departments as we can with either part-time employment or you have to do more. So we're doing our best to keep the budget down as low as possible and to help our residents to maintain their homes, especially because we have a 21% senior population in our town. Unlike Mayor Martinez, we do have about almost 12,000 residents currently, and that continues to grow. So we're about double the size of a Butler.
Yeah, you are. So Mayor Ryan, what do you say when your residents say property taxes, New Jersey, awful? I mean, you're not as high as other towns, but still much higher than the rest of the country. How do you address this?
I agree with them because they're right. The property taxes are too high. But the problem is that, look, property taxes definitely have to be lowered. But when you start talking about lowering taxes, the pushback is even from the same people who want them to be lowered is, well, what services are we going to lose? Does that mean the school will be more underfunded? Does that mean that, there won't be recycling on certain days? Are we going to have enough police and fire? So that is a concern for them too. So because we have 565 municipalities, and they all have their own DPWs and fire and police, and so there has to be a new formula made. In order to do that, you just can't just yank away things from people. You have to find a way where it's like you can still provide these services, have them be good, have them be efficient, but also help the taxpayer out as well. And that's not an easy task.
Right. I just got to tell you, Rosemary Becky is posting here, cut spending. And I mean, you both mentioned trying to do that. And she's right. I mean, we've got to cut spending. I think people hear about property taxes, they forget that it's really about spending. And actually, let me ask both of you, when you guys are out and about, and I should have asked you this in the beginning, besides property taxes, what are people saying to you? You guys are both very approachable mayors. I know you're very involved in the towns. You're beloved in the town. So what are people saying? Top issues that they're just so frustrated about, aside from property taxes, which is a given. Mayor Mark, what do you hear?
The biggest thing we hear is the tear downs of homes and new homes being built, the overbuilding of what we would call fair share housing. We talked about that earlier. Traffic in the downtown, traffic on New and Columbia Turnpike, all those things that people enjoy about a small town, an old town, have changed, and people don't adapt well, including myself, to change. I've been here a very long time, and I've seen mountains of change that I'm not really enthused about. But that is a product of growth, and when you own a property, you're able to develop it. So.
Right. So people are frustrated with the overdevelopment. I know you've tried to keep that in check. Mayor Ryan, what are you hearing when you walk about and people say, besides property taxes, what are the big things that are on their mind?
My town's a little bit different. To be honest with you, when I meet my residents, I don't assume what their affiliation is or what they believe or whether they're liberal, conservative, what have you. We're looking at ways to make our town better. So I'm always asking them questions. What do you want to see in this town? What do we need here? The two obvious answers, which I feel like the overwhelming majority say is they want more recreation, they want more parks, they want to fix our town pool, they also want a better downtown area. So, some of them think that we could just go ahead and take those buildings over and do that. It's like, no, you need someone that has the financial backing, that has a vision. So we're starting to discuss that there are developers who are interested in, giving the town a facelift. So we're having these conversations now, but again, that comes from the private sector. You don't want government doing that.
No, definitely private sector. But one of the things that people forget is all the stuff we focus on Trenton, right? Trenton, what Trenton is doing. It really comes down to what you guys are doing with what Trenton gives you. I mean, this is the day-to-day, right? Our mayors, our Board of Education, City Council, this is how we live our lives. So one of the things, a good example of that is the marijuana legislation that was passed. So each of the towns now is deciding what to do with that. They passed it in Trenton. Now you guys have to figure out how to handle that in your town. So what is Florham Park doing, Mayor Taylor, to address the marijuana legislation?
Well, we have adopted by second ordinance, 2 ordinances which will prohibit the marijuana sales in our downtown, and it will prohibit in every zone either the growth or the distribution of said. My feeling was the 2% that the state would be giving in this negotiation is not fair and equitable. And I also have some very personable reasons, family reasons, why I believe affirmatively that that marijuana is the potential for a heroin addict, and I've seen it firsthand. So I don't believe that it's proper for every resident. I believe that people can go have fun, but at the same time, I just don't think it's necessary in our downtown with our great group of kids that we have here. We have a great downtown for them to have fun, and I just don't think it's the right thing to do for our town.
Your police force, you have a great chief. What is he saying now about this?
He's right in line with what I've said. In fact, I bounced off the ordinances to him after I had them written and had them proofed. I bounced them off of him. We made some adjustments thereof. The issues that we talked about on another show that we were doing about 12-year-old children getting stopped with marijuana and not being able to call their parents. I mean, I think that's just absurd. If I did something at my neighbor's house when I was a kid, my parents were the first to know. It's just I just think that's absurd.
Yeah, a big challenge for our police force. Mayor Martinez, what are you guys doing addressing the marijuana legislation in Butler?
We're actually allowing it. We're going to put 2 ordinances, I believe, at the next council meeting, which is in late July, that's going to allow it. It's not going to be in the main street of town. It's not going to be by churches or schools. We're going to limit it to like Route 23 and that area. My opinion on it is, listen, the war on drugs has been a complete failure. We haven't made a dent in it since it started when Richard Nixon started in '71. We just spent a ton of money and lost countless lives with the useless police interactions. I don't really personally believe that anyone who isn't using it already is going to be using it once it becomes, quote, legal, or you can buy it at a store. I feel like it's going to be another business like alcohol or a liquor store someday. I don't think people are going to be hanging around and doing it at the place or in the parking lot. They're going to go home. That's going to be the people that are already using it. I just don't think you should be locked into a cage for putting a substance in your body. That's part of just my freedom mentality. Look, and I agree with Mayor Thomas. I mean, the fact that you can't call, there was a bill that was even being considered where you can't call the parents of a minor who was in possession of it, I think is ridiculous. But as far as just the marijuana issue, look, it's here. It's going to be legal. I don't think you should be put in jail for it. Let's just control it as a normal business. And I think there's going to be minimal problems, if it really any. I take that back. There's probably 0 problems.
Is your police force?
We've had discussions with them. I think initially, especially my council was concerned. Again, they were more concerned about people just hanging around the area or being like a hangout. And I just made the analogy. I'm like, look, when you buy your case of beer, you don't sit in the parking lot and drink it. You take it to the parking, you take it to your home, you take it to the picnic. You're not doing it in the parking lot. So I just don't see that being an issue coming up. I think that the state will do something ridiculous with the bill that they end up pushing forward. And I think they're only allowing 40 licenses. So I don't understand where the equitableness is coming from or how that helps certain community that they allege that they want to help, but whatever.
All right.
Well, if I may, Elizabeth, I feel that just like we said about alcohol a moment ago, that once those people go home, smoke the marijuana and get in the car and do other damage to other people, property, lives, I just think it's another weapon behind the wheel. I've been a very big advocate of Uber and doing things like that to go out at night to make sure that people are safe. My children are very cognizant of it. I think when you throw another loop in there with marijuana, you're just it's going to be another issue, and we're gonna have to deal with it on our highway in town, 24 Columbia Turnpike. We've already had two big accidents on Columbia Turnpike in the last couple of weeks. We had a fatal there 3 months ago. We had a fatal on Route 24. Not sure what the outcome was of the person, but they were taken into custody. So, I mean, I think we really have to be careful when you start talking about people's lives, and especially our children, for sure.
Yeah. Well, guys, two different towns, two different ways of handling it. And you both, of course, want everyone to stay safe, but there are some concerns. And we did a whole show on that, just what happened in Colorado on the highways after everything was legalized. So, nothing is a perfect solution, but we'll have to see how it gets handled. And maybe in a year, guys, we'll have you back on to see how the two towns fare. Right? Right? Two different approaches. Both of you are great managers, and we'll have to see how that came out. All right, let's talk about COVID. COVID is still with us. It's still with us. Not the virus. I don't know, is it or not, but really the effects of it, right? The effects of it. So now a lot of people have been vaccinated, and there's this magical 70% that Murphy wanted. So does that mean now that you guys are more open, or were you already? Mayor Taylor, what's the story with Florham Park?
Our retail in the downtown of our little municipality is back in force. They're doing well. We have some businesses that struggled throughout this pandemic, and I think that they had the thumb on their neck or their head or they couldn't breathe. They just couldn't work through the rigors of not being able to pay their rent. They couldn't and I got a lot of calls. I fielded a lot of things. I want to thank Rob Field down at the governor's office, who has helped me to have these conversations with these businesses. But now those are back open. I plan to open the Borough Hall on August the 1st. I plan to go back to live meetings for both planning and zoning, and for our council meetings, to try and get people back out. You see these events going on. We're going to have a 5th of July parade, not on the 4th because it's Sunday, but on the 5th of July, we're going to have a parade in Florham Park. We're going to have National Night Out on the 3rd of August, and it's going to be a big one. We're going to have a band. We're going to have a live movie after it's over. We're going to have a helicopter come in, hopefully from one of the armed forces. So we're back, and we've got to grow back to people being safe, and at the same time getting back to some normalcy in life. Our pool is open. Our recreation programs are open. Our camp is open this summer. So we're really full stream ahead.
That's great. It's nice to hear all those events that for years and years have gone on are back. It's nice to get back to normal instead of a new normal. Let's head back to the way it used to be, right?
The longest running parade in the state of New Jersey, 65 years. This is our 65th anniversary.
Wow, that's great. So it'll be on July 5th. I love it.
Correct.
So Mayor Martinez, how are you guys reacting to all of this? Were you closed? Are you open now? Tell us what it's like in Butler.
We were closed initially, but then we started to come back. We were having meetings in person for council meetings pretty much throughout. Our club meetings were over Zoom, and we started to go back to live again. Some places were a little slower, like our library is just starting to open up again. And quite frankly, that's fine. It's what everyone feels comfortable with. Again, I'll keep repeating over and over again, freedom. Let people make their own decisions, their own choices. I've not asked a single person if they've been vaccinated or not, nor will I. Nor do I think anyone should. It's up to the individual. It was heartbreaking for that time walking into businesses especially the restaurants, the pizza places that were filled with people on any given time, and just seeing those bare empty seats and people complaining about not, like as Mayor Taylor said, not being able to pay their rent or not being able to feed their families. It was crushing. All the businesses that went away are not coming back. It was a terrible time. I never accepted the term new normal. And I'm not going to. We're going back to normal. We're going to live our lives again. And I'm happy that the world is starting to open up again. For those that are a little cautious and anxious, we'll work with them. That's fine. We're not shoving or forcing anything down anyone's throats. We don't do that.
Yeah, I love that for that. And I know you're both trying to get things back to the way they were. Mayor Taylor, one of my favorite restaurants in your town is closed and not opening back up. And, you know, we hear 1/3 of the businesses, it becomes really personal. Now, one thing that's happening on the shore towns we hear is door-to-door knocking, asking if you've been vaccinated. How do you feel about that, Mayor Taylor?
I think it's none of their business. I think that that's a personal preference, whether you take it or not. You do the shot is totally up to the individual and or the family unit, and no one else's business in my mind.
It's a medical decision. Mayor Martinez, I almost don't have to ask you because I know where you stand on medical freedom, but let's tell the people anyway. How would you react to someone coming to your door and asking you that question?
I would close the door.
Gently?
No. No, I'm appalled by it. That is not the job of the government or anyone's business. Let individuals take care of themselves. You know how to take care of yourself and your family better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to trust you to do so. And that's the way we should treat every citizen.
Yeah. I love it. Well, it's an evolving issue. You guys know that, well, you've got universities in your town, Mayor Taylor. There are requirements and people talking about mandates.
Yes.
And we're going to see where this all plays out. But I know both of you are in your heart for freedom, and appreciate that about you guys. Okay, guys. So listen, a lot of kind of heavy issues, but both of you have great towns. So I want you to each brag. I could brag on you, but it's easier if you brag on yourself, because I might leave something out, God forbid. So I want each of you to brag on what's going on in your town, add to the things you've talked about already, some of your accomplishments. Mayor Martinez, I'm going to start with you.
I was taught the term when I got appointed, low cost, high impact, and that stuck with me. You don't need to spend millions of dollars to make a town great. Since I started in November, we've done things like our holiday light contest and Christmas that everyone loved. We did a book drive where we had almost 14,000 books that were donated, where kids were able to come. They didn't have to be from Butler. If you wanted a book, you can come get one. We did a Butler business directory where me and 5 volunteers reached out to almost every business in town and created a directory for free. We allowed them to post their businesses on our EDC page, our economic development page, just to promote our businesses, all businesses of all sizes. That's just something we wanted to do for our town. As the summer comes, we're starting a town initiative where we're going to promote exercise and physical fitness. I have a UFC fighter, Dan Severin, who's going to come and give a clinic to anyone who wants to join it. He's also going to give a free clinic to the kids at the Butler Wrestling. And we're going to be doing a lot of other things. We're going to find ways to get the sports programs funded, get them equipment that they need. And I'm just always open to ideas. We have a great talent, a lot of great people, a lot of great ideas who are constantly reaching out to me, not with complaints, with ideas. And I engage all of them. I talk to all of them because great ideas can come from anywhere. And people make towns great, not mayors, not governments. It's the people, it's the community. So Butler's a great town, great community. It's been a great time so far. I love being here. I love being the mayor.
So you said people make the town great, not mayors. I love that. And I want to mention one thing you didn't mention, which is a proclamation that you made at a meeting about unity is our strength. You want to talk about that?
Yes. This came about because we made a proclamation of Pride Month in the borough. That was something that the council had put forth. And there was some blowback. People wanted us to put the LGBTQ flag up. We don't put any flags up other than the American flag, the state flag, and the POW flag. One particular person said, there's a lot of hate in the world, and it would be good if you did this. And I said, I agree, there is a lot of hate in the world. And I think part of the reason for all the hate is because we keep dividing each other between male, female, racist, sex, political affiliation. So I said, I'm going to issue a proclamation that July 4th is called Unity is Our Strength Day. We're going to say that identity politics is divisive, it should be rejected, and we need to look at each other as individuals and Americans. And that's what we proclaim. That's what July 4th is going to be. And that's what we need to do. We have to stop separating each other. We're individuals and Americans, and we're under one flag. And that's how we have to treat each other.
I love it. I love it. And July 4th in Butler is Unity is Our Strength Day. That's awesome. Okay, Mayor Taylor, let's do some bragging on Florham Park.
Well, during COVID, I mean, we really worked hard to help our businesses to stay afloat, going door to door. In many cases, going to visit people. I'm also on the Rotary, and we had people in visiting to try and help, keep their psyche working straight and moving forward with that. We had our library having story time out on the sidewalk. We had our gazebo loaded with different types of yoga and exercise clinics on the lawn, countless weddings that I performed of people that could not get married last year in the traditional fashion.
Yeah.
Called this guy over and said, "Hey, can you marry us? Because we really want to get this done." I said, "Are you sure?" So, but
Is that legal? Are they really married?
Oh yeah, by the power invested in me by the state of New Jersey, I can do that. So,
I love it.
With that said, I'm very proud of our town maintaining our AAA bond rating with Moody's. We've just been reaffirmed with that. We're one of 16 towns in New Jersey to hold that qualification, and I think that's a big thing for our residents. We have the second lowest tax rate in Morris County, and I aim to keep it at that. We've brought in a tremendous amount of new ratables in the past year, particularly from the Del Ed project up on Park Avenue, which is now 75% sold out during COVID. And these are going between $8 and $1 million. So people are moving here at an enormous rate. We're very happy. I had a little meeting up there recently with some residents. About 40 people came out. It was nice to meet them, tell them why the streets are named the way that they are. Our town is really moving forward. As I said earlier, we're going to open the Borough Hall to the public on August 1st. We're going to have live meetings. We're going to get back to normal here. And it's going to be the normal, not some subset of normal as well. We have our pool open for this year, and we have a record attendance number at our pool already this year, which fell off a little bit last year and fell off the year before as well. So very happy to say that. I have one Debbie Downer I'd like to put in there. We have the infrastructure project on Columbia Turnpike and Park Avenue, and unfortunately it was voted down by 4 towns, Morris Township, Madison, Chatham, and Chatham Township. They did not send a letter of support to the federal government or to Mikey Sherrill's office to help us get some well-needed funds for that project. But just recently, now they're back. Those 4 towns are asking if we could have a meeting to try and figure this out. It's too late. That ship has sailed. Yeah. So it's a shame.
Right. That is a shame. Let's make sure we hold some of them, responsible for that at the right time. For missing that opportunity, Mayor Taylor. Well, listen, Florham Park, Butler, we're proud of you guys in Morris County. We really are 2 incredible towns, 2 great mayors. Both of you add so much to people's lives, and you do a great job. Just say one last thing to your constituents on the way out. Mayor Martinez.
Don't hurt anyone. Don't take their stuff. Other than that, mind your business and live the best life you possibly can.
You are the live and let live guy. I love that. That's awesome. Mayor Taylor, what's your last word?
I would say I look forward to seeing everyone on the 4th of July. I just celebrated 103rd birthday of a woman in town and 105th birthday of a woman in town. And they're great people. We have a great town. I'm looking forward to that. I got to give one plug to you, Elizabeth Nader, and to Jersey First and to Rosemary Becky for all the great work that we're trying to do for this state of New Jersey.
Jersey First is all about putting Jersey residents first. And you know what? That's done best at the local level. That is the truth. That is where we live our lives. So people like the 2 of you putting your residents first and all that you care about and you fight for really makes a difference. So I'm back at you guys because we appreciate you and we're thrilled to have you on tonight. Thank you so much. We will have you back. Keep fighting for your residents because the better you make our towns, it bleeds into the other towns, right? So we're proud of you guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I had a lot of fun.
All right, guys, to my audience, we will see you guys next week. Thanks.